Hey everybody, now this is the third part of a group of videos I'm making where I was talking about the basically my timeline and how the visions puzzle in. So I just finished up talking about how the first section of my video we're talking about those first few years of Florida, and in my second I had just moved to Denver. I just got up to that point finally, and so by moving to Denver, Rosie's one of the first few friends that I made. And that was also the same year, 1996 was the same year that I saw Frontline Assembly for the first time. And so I kind of had it in mind that I wanted to contact Bill. So I was just kind of testing the water. And so I got on the bus and I was visiting with his partner, Reese Fulber. And then when Bill Lieb came in, I didn't really get a chance to talk to him, but I'll never forget what it was like to meet him, because I've never seen this happen any other time in my life. So anyways, I saw him kind of standing over there by the bunks, the bunk beds, like he was just kind of doing something over there, and it almost seemed like he felt like, he didn't like, seeing people in his bus, like, what are you doing in my bus. But then he looked right at me, like right when our eyes met, there was like a big electrical spark, dude. And then I got asked to leave or something. But anyways, I wanted to add that in there. That was the very first time I met Bill Lieb. So this is where I think it's funny that I had those visions in 1982 where Rosie and Howard were keeping Billy, and then I met them all in the same year. The thing is I hit it off with Rosie, and it seems like we've become best friends and everything. But with Bill Lieb, I've been able to contact him and talk to him just a little bit, but I've never really been able to get I can't really say that me and him are friends. I didn't get a friendship out of coming to meet Bill Lieb. So but I started having more of these visions. Like I wasn't really sure what to think the first time I met him, so I just went home. So I started having more visions, and I had one where Rosie came to me and talked me into writing them. So I wrote to Bill Lieb. And so this is like 1998. So I wrote him, and then I went to see him, and then and as I'd mentioned before, that really didn't go well. I just felt like it was kind of like when I first started elementary school, and it brought on a lot of bullying and stuff. So I'd really like to talk a lot more about that at another time. So this is where man, I was really heartbroken by it. It was such a devastating experience on so many levels, and I'll explain that again more elaborately, because it's not just about, oh, I didn't get to talk to Bill Lieb. It's when I realized what's going on with the whole music scene and so many other things in my life were all just kind of just a big heavy time. And so like later that year, Frontline Assembly was going to come back, so I bought my dad a plane ticket to come up and go see them with me, because I thought maybe he could help me get through to Bill, just because I felt like I was having a hard time getting through to Bill because I'm a young girl. And and I was listening. I overheard a bunch of people saying that that they thought I was trying to get Bill Lieb in bed. So I thought maybe I should get my dad to go talk to him. Maybe they won't accuse him of the same thing, right? Anyways, they got the show canceled, and we ended up getting to see Zymox, which was fun. And then after he went home, I went to one of these visionary states, and this is the one that really woke me up. So I've been having these little visionary slips all my life, and I didn't know it. But then when I had this was the one that educated me. Okay, and I even had a couple of visions where, like, the people in them, like my good friend Rosie and my good friend Jason Dobbins, explained to me what the parallel dimensional timeline is, and they explained to me that you get there by going into visionary state. So like I'd already heard of this, but like I really didn't know that I was having them yet. But this one was a biggie. So I went from November 2nd of 1999 to January 27th of 2000. Like I went like a leap. Then I was in the future, in the visionary state, until like the beginning of June. So I don't know what day I ended, but I knew what day I landed and stuff. And then I went back to normal. And then like after that, I think I went to see my dad, and in the Florida Keys. I was living in Denver, and I wanted to visit him for Christmas. And while I was down there were some kind of spooky things that happened. Like I watched Fifth Element for the first time, and it seemed like they spliced a little piece of me walking by the Denver, the Colorado, the capital of Colorado, and flipping somebody off, and that was really scary. Like, where did they get footage of that? Well, And then later on in the begin, like February, me and my friend were walking by, and my friend, did you hear that guy? He just said they wanted to lower minimum wage, and I'm like, oh yeah, well let's flip him off. So we flipped the guy off, and then later that day, I'm like, that's weird. I almost feel like this happened before. In fact, I almost think I saw that happen right in the middle of Fifth Element. So that's where I started feeling like, having those sort of schizophrenic or maybe those symptoms of psychosis, starting to get scared, going, oh my God, who's doing this to me? I just thought maybe, there was some sort of elaborate government, what you call experiment or something, and that I got picked because I'm an undesirable individual, like like they don't care about hippies and their kids, right? So we all know my parents are hippies and pot users. So anyways, just jokingly, yeah, so there's a lot of information out there suggesting that there are black ops and psyop type of experimentation, and it's like I don't really want to buy into any of that bullshit, but it's something to take into consideration. But I did try to meet Bill Lieb again. I went to see Delirium, and the funny thing is he let his hair grow out. And when I saw him there, I realized, man, that's exactly how he looked when he was in my visions. So I'd love it if somebody could give us a picture of Bill Lieb at about the age of 8 going on 9, as he put it, and or one where like his hair's growing out a little bit. He kind of has the dark roots and the lighter hair, and it gets really curly in the back. You rarely ever see pictures of Bill Lieb with curly hair, and so it'd be nice if somebody had that picture for us. And so I kind of made up a funny little song about Bill Lieb because that was the thing I needed to see to be sure, like that is definitely the same guy, So I wrote a little ditty that goes, ooh, that curly Q, let me tell you about that curly Q. So I'll have to share that another time, but I made up a funny song about Bill's curly hair because it seems like if you're trying to be hardcore and spooky and industrial strength, you want spiky hair, not, angelic curly hair that makes you look too cute and gentle. So anyways, I met Bill Lieb again in 2007 when I went to see Frontline Assembly, and that was a really interesting night. It almost seemed like I had dreams about stuff that was going to happen that night. So instead of visions, I've had dreams. And so we all went out to the church, and and I just felt like I really wanted to test Bill on the hug thing, because in the visions he said, I really need you to give me a hug. So I thought, I'm going to test this. Plus I'd really like to give him a hug. I just really wanted to like things kind of like I did a lot of things after like the thing in '99 when it went really bad. I felt like I did and said a lot of things that I regret, and I think that I've said a lot of things that were like as if I was talking shit or whatever. So I felt bad, and I really wanted to try to leave there on friendlier terms. And this time I just thought I'd try to give him a hug. So he said sure, and to my surprise, he was gonna let me hug him. Oh my goodness! So because when I saw him at Delirium, I was trying to ask for a hug, and he was like, I don't know if he thought I was asking for a kiss, but he wouldn't let me. But this time I got to hug him, and he gave me a nice big one too. He's like, man, it's like even took in a big, like it just made me feel like somewhere inside this guy's gotta like me a little bit. Maybe Bill Lieb does like me a little bit, and he appreciates it, But hey, so that was kind of a nice memory. So there's a lot of stuff I'd like to talk about that night, and then but the next time I seen him, he came back the next year with Delirium. And I felt bad just because, I felt like he was blowing me up to go hang out with some chick that looked like a hooker, man. That's where I was just like really, I started really just having an emotional breakdown over it. Like, I don't understand all this stupid fucking Bill Lieb stuff. And that's why, I ended up going and doing a vision quest. So I'd like to talk a little bit more about that in my next video. So anyways, this is where, like, the very last time I seen Bill Lieb, thankfully I got another hug in on him. So when we hugged, in 2008, I just figured, hey, I may never see this guy again. So I decided I told him, Bill Lieb, I told him, Bill, we may never see each other again. I'd really like to give you a hug. So when he bent down to hug me, it's like he does give good hugs. I mean, it almost seems like, there's a sense of genuinity to it. So I really appreciate those hugs. Anyways, you guys, thank you if you're listening. I'm going to have to do one more video to finish up this little section, and I'll talk to you soon.